Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Thomas, and today we're going to be talking about self-advocacy for use of assistive technology devices in college and in work. And I think that this is going to be a really fun experience, really, for our students to learn about self-advocacy and transition planning, because this really gives our students, a world of independence of their own. If they choose to go to college or just to get a job after high school, whichever path they choose to take, they certainly have, you know, many doors opening for them through the use of self-advocacy and their assistive technology devices. Um, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, which is awesome. And of course, the self-advocacy for this, students should take full responsibility, really dive deep and really learn about their disability, how it affects their daily living, and what kind of support and resources that have really put a positive spin on their life. And then, of course, learning how to communicate that with others so they continue to receive that much needed support in the future as well, and just really throughout their entire lives. All right, wonderful. So we're going to be talking about additional accommodations in higher education, which we will find out is going to be just a bit different from the elementary and secondary education that our students have received so far. But of course, the student is responsible for documenting their disability with the University Disability Services, hopefully prior to enrollment. Of course, some students may slip through the cracks and decide not to get to that disability services department until after they've gotten into class and they realize that they do need that extra support that they are so used to receiving. But hopefully they get to that department before they enroll. And of course, that department will require an intake appointment. And I do have an example of a request for accommodations for the University of Colorado Boulder, which we will be discussing here momentarily. But yeah, of course, the form requires the student to name their disability, detail how it affects their schoolwork and their personal lives. And of course, it also acknowledges, if they've been on any medications before, what kind of accommodations are they used to, as well as, what kind of therapies are they currently enrolled or involved in, or what have they been involved in before that may have worked for them previously. So, of course, the student must be very knowledgeable about their disability, how it impacts their day-to-day living, but they also should be, knowledgeable about the laws as well and what accommodations are available to them, because of course there's just a world full of knowledge, and if you don't seek it, then you have a chance of missing out on something really great. So of course we encourage our students to take full advantage of what our colleges and universities have for the accommodation services for them. And then, of course, the accommodations for college courses are much simpler solutions. They provide students with extra time for taking tests. They can also provide a distraction-free environment for test taking. Now, of course, unlike the elementary and secondary education, a college or university is not required to modify the contents of the class or the exam for the student. They are also not required to provide more intensive tutoring, but of course, the library or department-wide services may provide, of course they do provide, ample opportunity for students to seek out and receive extra help. And of course, this includes the Disability Services Department as well. Now, of course, these accommodations, including additional tutoring, is sought out by the individual student on their own. So, of course, the student is required to take full responsibility and to really take that initiative. But I mean, that's required of any college student. That's required of any adult who, is really trying to take life by the reins and really seeking to better their life. And really that's just required in day-to-day living anyway. So these are really useful skills for our students to have. Now, I did want to provide this copy of this Disability Services request for accommodations form from University of Colorado. It is a very simple form, but it does ask some questions, of course, such as what is your disability and how your disability impacts you, and then, what kind of accommodations you have, what are your strengths, but also what are your weaknesses and your special interests as well. So it does go over some of the health implications as well of their disability if the student is on medication. And I do know that we had already discussed this, but this is all really important information. And again, the student can ask their parent um, to assist them with filling this out, but really, it's important for them to have all of this information on hand anyway. And then, of course, the transition planning is a really exciting time for our students because this really, again, gives them the opportunity to really take that initiative in choosing the kind of life that they want to have, what path they want to take, what needs to be really the focal point of their transition planning. Are they going to go to a college? Are they going to go, and find a job after high school? What are their initial plans, and then what do they need to do to make sure that they see that success? And I really like this quote here. For people without disabilities, technology makes things easier. For people with disabilities, technology makes things possible. And I think, especially with that transition planning and years of really, practicing and making sure they really understand their assistive technology and really making sure they understand what they need to succeed, the better off that they will be. So the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act mandates that students begin their transition planning at about the age of 16. Now, some students will begin this much sooner, but the transition planning is vital to the student's success to effectively navigate in college setting or their work environment. Transition planning includes making sure the student is well versed in operating their particular assistive technology. The student must be knowledgeable in their daily operational skills of working their AT, such as, of course, turning the device on and off, and knowing how to navigate the device. Knowing all of the required functional skills, how to perform their desired tasks with the device. The student must also know when specific activities require specific functions of the assistive technology. Social skill awareness is also an important skill while using this device because items such as properly communicating through the AT, if applicable, is going to make navigating through our social environment so much easier, and it is imperative that our students are just masters of their assistive technology. So, of course, we suggest that they begin at the ripe age of 16 or sooner because it takes time to really, build that confidence and that knowledge and that skill set. So, we want to make sure that our students are entering into the workforce or entering into that college environment really confident in their abilities and just we want to get them off on the right foot. So, and of course, it is imperative that students with disabilities be their own advocates. I really like this quote from our class book entitled Assistive Technology in the Classroom. Self advocates take responsibility for themselves. They are people who can speak up in a logical, clear, and positive language to communicate about their needs. And I really like this because this really is an empowering statement. This is a positive, powerful statement, and it just doesn't apply to our students who have disabilities. This is, a lifelong goal, I think, for just individuals, just people in life. It's important that we stand up for what we need and to really learn how to communicate what we need in a really logical but positive way. Because if we don't know how to communicate and stand up for ourselves, then it's just an empowering act. And I understand that some students may not have the ability to do that, but I think given whatever the circumstances may be, there are always tools. There are always things that we can do as simple as we can make them to really we can really communicate, I think, given the best of the resources. And that's what transition planning is all about, is providing our students with the resources, the training, and the knowledge to really be confident and to stand up for themselves and to make sure that they have the ability to do so. It's important. So let's see. So yeah, they need to be a self-advocate. Each student must learn to understand his or her particular type of disability and of course their academic strengths and weaknesses. They also need to understand their emotional strengths and their emotional weaknesses and how they're going to be affected by their environments in college and work. And this is just really about us setting our students up for success. All right, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this slide, or at least a couple of slides. I know it's a very simple PowerPoint that I have here, but I hope that you at least enjoyed it. Thank you.